We went through almost 40 employees in our first 2 years in business. It almost broke our business until we figured out how to systematize. I'll break down how you can automate your hiring process. Hiring problems could be process problems, meaning the process in which you get those new candidates in could be the issue and not necessarily just the candidates. Because if you have low filters, you're going to attract low quality candidates, right? So if you don't have a lot of ways to like get the best of the best, when you talk to them on the phone or bring them in for an in-person interview, then you might get some low quality people out there and just waste your time. Some no-nos we learned really early on. Craigslist is terrible. We had the worst candidate pools ever come from Craigslist. Some guys have figured it out. We have not. Maybe in their market it's a little better. No SOPs, so standard operating procedures. So at first, when we first brought people on, we had no way of like, this is what we do, this is why we do it, this is how we do it. So that was a problem. No onboarding. So if you don't have a way where someone shows up, are you giving them paperwork? Are you going over the packet? Are you giving them expectations over the next week or two? We do that now. We did not do that then. We had no filter, so it was anybody. So they come out, we might work them for a day, work them for a week. That was horrible. And we had really high turnover that first 2 years. So people were staying 1 day, 1 week, things like that. But we had over 40. That's a lot. That's crazy, right? So 40 people in 2 years, insane turnover. But literally guys would show up for a day, did not work out, or try to get paid for a day or two. It was really, really bad. So trying to help you guys avoid this. So during this learning process, we end up implementing a few things to like filter out some really bad employees. For example, it seems super basic, but I'm sure guys in the trades, they understand. If they have a valid driver's license, because if they don't, that just means they were being irresponsible, however they want to explain it, right? DUI or tickets or whatever, they don't have it or it's not valid. That's gonna make your insurance go up if you have drivers as well. If you're going above board, I'm talking about being above board right now, but that's me. Background checks, that's a win-win for them and us. So we can actually promote that to customers, like all our guys are background checked, but we also avoid anybody that had any crazy history, right? And then transportation, right? Some guys, they might pass these first two, but they can't get to work reliably every day. So you wanna make sure that these three are checked off. That alone reduced our chaos with maybe only turning over 5 or 6 guys. That was very helpful, and it's crazy how few filters help reduce that chaos all the way down, something to think about. So if you can't use Craigslist and you're trying to figure out where you should go, we ended up using Indeed. Indeed works out great for us. So you gotta learn how to write ad copy though. So you can watch some YouTubes, you can use ChatGPT, you can Google, but ad copy is very important. That's very important because let's say you just put up, I'm hiring. That doesn't help at all. You're not saying what type of person you're hiring. You're not trying to filter it all on that page in that description. You want to attract good talent, right? You want to standardize your interviews. So you want to ask all the candidates the same questions to filter them out fairly. And you want to be able to pay better. So we ended up doing, the P for P. That worked out for us where we can pay an incentive pay to the guys, game changing, right? So those guys that want to work a little better, work a little harder, they make a little bit more money, or you could just raise your hourly rate to attract better candidates. After you improved your process, put in some basic filters, gain some experience interviewing and picking some better candidates, you're going to want to automate it. So if you can automate it right now, we're using Jotform, but when we get a little bigger and it makes sense, maybe when I get 3 or 4 crews, I want to get some software that specializes in video interviews. So we have them go to the website. Our website, we have a careers page. On there, it tells you like what we're looking for and what benefits they get. We got a picture of the team on there as well. So it's great, but it has that Jotform. That Jotform is a basic filter. Remember, we want to make sure they got transportation, valid driver's license, and willing to do a background check. I literally have guys that fill this out and be like, they don't want to do a background check. They'll never get to part 2, or we'll never call them back, right? So then part 2 is email as long as they pass the basic filters and it pre-fills their name and everything in there. So that part 2 is a video submission. So there's 3 questions being asked. They have to answer that video like I'm talking right now. So if they take the video, they can prop it up or they can talk into it as long as I can see them clearly. We're able to have them answer the questions right then and there. That does a few things. One, we get to see if they can follow instructions because on our Indeed or our website, it says they got to go through the full process. So are you going to finish this part 2 or check your emails? And we're not really guiding them through this process. So that's an interview in itself, a help filter. Now you might get less candidates. They may be more capable or more qualified because they went through the full process. They set up their camera, they organized their thoughts, they recorded and made sure they answered everything. So you get to evaluate their answers, how they speak, do they seem fit, Do they look like they'll be able to fit in the culture? So you can filter out a lot easier than having to do a phone interview, right? So once we get that and we review their responses, we can just invite them to an in-person interview. So this replaces the need for a phone interview. You don't need to do this anymore because you got the video coming in answering your questions. If you like the candidate, you just go ahead and invite them for an in-person interview. If they do well there, then you're gonna do the background check. You don't do this earlier, you make sure you get through all the way. So you don't have to waste money here. I'm sure you got a partner or a service that can do the backgrounds for you. It saves you a little bit of money. Assuming this goes well, we're gonna go ahead and get that start date for these guys, right? So this is a better way to automate it. This is actually what we're doing right now. We have already gotten maybe out of 50 applicants, we maybe got 7 or 8 videos submitted. So that filtered that number way down for us, and that's a manageable amount of people to watch a video and invite in person. We've already had 3 or 4 in-person interviews, and 2 of them already accepted our job offer. So I really like this process. So it's something to think about. You can tweak it for yourself. Again, we use JotForm. JotForm has a video submission portion that you can build out in your forms. I'm sure there's some other software out there as well. Check with ChatGPT. Hiring is not about quantity, it's about quality. So you want to get quality candidates in. So if you got to build out filters, so that way everyone's like, oh, no one wants to work, or we got these terrible employees, just don't hire the first person that apply. If you have 50 applicants come in, have a way where you can get that down to 20. And from those 20, maybe you do phone interviews with 12 of them because they scheduled and actually showed up for the phone interview. You invite 6 of those people in person, and you might want to bring on 2. So you got to be able to do a numbers game, get that all the way down. Just keep that in mind as you build out your hiring funnel. If you have any questions, leave a comment below.